yeah, but it's come a long ways. You know,
it has indeed.
Still a lot to go. And I wanted to ask you. You mentioned the play earlier about the Blacklist.
Mm-hmm.
That you showed at FCT.
That's right.
What was the name of that play? I didn't get a chance to write it down.
It was our first play that we did. It was called Three Songs, and it loosely followed Pete Seeger and the Weavers. It was very loosely based on that.
Oh, my God. They're my favorite.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm a huge Ronnie Gilbert fan.
Oh, well, you would have loved this show. We actually brought it back about a year later, and written by a wonderful actor, and just a really tremendous piece. And they moved on. It became an equity production, and moved on and did a tour for a little while.
Is it written anywhere where I can get a copy of the actual
Sadly,
play?
it's not. It's not one that we've been very lucky at the theater to have several of our plays published, but that's not one of the pieces. But it should be, and we really tried.
Yeah, shoot. I had a friend who was affected by the McCarthy blacklist during the McCarthy era, and his whole acting career kind of got sent to Italy for a while, and he came back here, and he just passed away a few years ago. But you always wonder what kind of career he would have had he not gone through all that.
Well, I tell you, one of the best moments that we've had at our theater, and we're constantly kicking ourselves because we didn't tape this, but there was a group that, and unfortunately the name escapes me right now, but it's a wonderful group of people in Southern California who used it for a fundraiser, and they brought in a number of people who had been blacklisted. Among those, Ring Lardner Jr., Paul Jericho, who passed away, actually was killed in a car accident about 2 weeks later, Marsha Hunt, just an all-star list of names, actors, writers, directors, extraordinary. I mean, I felt as if I'd walked into a Hall of Fame in my own building. And listening to them, and fortunately our theater was packed, and listening to them tell their stories of the blacklist and answer questions from the audience was really inspiring.
It is. My friend was Mark Lawrence, and he lived in Palm Springs, and and he was fascinating to listen to. I could just sit there and listen to him all night.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, that he lived right across the street from Tristan Rogers, and a couple doors down from the family that raised, that I was raised with. And I, the first time he came over, I thought he was an old homeless guy. He was scary looking. Really, if you've ever seen any of his work, he was just as scary in person as he was, but he was just he was an old love, just a pussycat. And I could just sit there and listen to his stories forever. And
they had great stories.
Just fascinating storytellers. And
I was going to say it was quite an era. And what was his book? I'd love to hear about.
I have it here somewhere. I have it here. Shoot. You know what? When I go there to FCT, it's called Long Time No See. Long Time No See by Mark Lawrence, Confessions of a Hollywood Gangster.
Well, that's great. Well, they had tremendous stories, and you can imagine just with the three names I mentioned, and there were others, and it's a great lesson for us all. Marsha Hunt specifically was talking about how she was not political at all. She literally, I don't know if a lot of people out there who have either read about the blacklist or maybe old enough to remember it, she took what had become a very famous plane trip with Humphrey Bogart and Lauren Bacall and several other Hollywood stars of the time, flew to Washington to protest the hearings and McCarthy. And she, as she told the story, basically Lauren Bacall said, "You want to go to Washington with us?" And that was all that was necessary for her to be blacklisted.
Wow. Yeah. Mark was brought into it because he was going to meetings in L.A. because he wanted to meet girls. He was a womanizer. You know, he got caught in.
Well, you heard my story of how I became an actor, so.
Yes, exactly. You know, you never know.
You never know, exactly.
Well, I will let you go and let other people get a chance to talk to you, but it sure was a pleasure speaking to you. And I can't wait to meet you in a couple of months.
It'll be. Well, Kim, we'll see you in a couple of weeks, or in several weeks anyway.
Yeah, right after both of our birthdays.
Oh, wonderful. Another Leo.
Another Leo. So I will meet you and talk to you in August, James. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Okay,
bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Kim. Okay, and there's another caller, Matthew from New York. One moment. Matthew, you're on the air.
Hello.
Hi, Matthew.
Hello. Hi, James. How are you?
I'm very good. How are things in New York?
Oh, great city. I love it.
I do too. We're going to be there in just a few days, and so I want you to make sure it's not too hot for me.
I will do my level best.
Okay.
I am discovering also that you and I have quite a similar background. You're being from a very small town in Kansas. I'm originally from a very, very small town in Missouri, and also came to the big city. And so I was like, oh, this is very much a kindred spirit and kindred history. And, of course, Vincent Price, our fellow Midwesterner, as well.
Also St. Louis guy.
Yes.
What city in Missouri are you from?
I'm from a tiny little farm village called Sarcoxy. You've never heard of it before, and you never will again.
Well, I want to tell you that I haven't. But, around my hometown is called Oskaloosa. And but around us, we also have Ozaki and Tonganoxie. So we have similar-sounding names.
We definitely understand each other. All Native American Indian chiefs.
Exactly.
Right? That was mine.
Exactly. No, you're right.
It's near Joplin, if that helps.
It does. I know that area. Yes.
Excellent. Well, I wanted to ask you about Oliver Haley, because when I found out you were doing this play, I thought, oh, I'd like to read the play. And I went to the drama bookshop here in New York and found out that it wasn't published. But I also discovered all these other plays by Oliver Haley that I wasn't really familiar with. So you mentioned he'd done a lot of stuff on Broadway. What, other than obviously, of course, the play that you're doing, what do you recommend? What are some good introductions to Oliver Haley that I should look into?
You know, I was so afraid that somebody was going to say that.
Oh, no.
And I hope Betsy Haley isn't. I hope Betsy isn't listening to me. Of course, the 5th of July comes to mind. And my wife just did, oh gosh, she'll kill me, his play at the theater, and not just, but a couple of years ago. And that just escaped me, but I'm going to look it up while I'm talking to you, so everybody will think that I actually know what I'm talking about. But I do have to tell you that the history of this piece was never published, but it was done at the Mark Taper Forum a number of years ago. And Eileen Brennan did it with Lou Gossett Jr. And so when Betsy had mentioned that she had this play, and of course Oliver passed away a number of years ago, and I never met Oliver. I'm sad to say, but Betsy has become a very good friend of ours and a very good friend of the theater. And she said, Oliver has this play, and we'd love you to do it. And so we have been thrilled to do it, and we did it at our theater, and now we're doing it at the Cape May, which I hope you can come down to.